All right. What's up? Welcome, everybody, back to another edition of Chairgatin. I'm your host, Rattlesnake, coming at you live once again from the Snake Pit in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, joined again with my co-host, Dakota. Who do we got, Dakota?
Woo! Dakota 4 coming from the Rutledge Dome, live from Atlanta, Georgia. My boy, Bunn, Connor Bunn, ex-retired podcaster, ex-retired badass. He's still there, but out of the shadows he comes. Connor, what's up?
What's going on, fellas? I like the retired podcaster. I like to refer to myself as a retired podcaster at 23 years old. So, but I'm good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Hell yeah, man. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the post-Clash spectacular. We got a lot to break down here. NASCAR's back. We had new cars, new track, and a new market. The Clash itself, the format was good, the great views, the great environment. Ice Cube showed the fuck up people. And then, there were some hotties and some naughties. There were some guys that really surprised us and some guys that really didn't surprise us. Some dirty moves were made, and we got all that to break down, and we are 1 week from Daytona. I can feel it in my veins.
All right, let's get it.
Hey.
What's up? It's Chairgatin coming at you live.
Hello, come right in. Rock, flag, and eagle.
It never gets old.
All right, before we get started, Dakota, can you tell the people who are brought to you by?
We say it every week, and it never gets old. Stay with us. You might see some giveaways coming up. It's Daytona week next week. Yeats Official. Check them out. I don't even know which pair to wear some episodes, but check out Chairgatin discount code for 10% off on yeatsofficial.com. Dude, if you want to look like a badass surfing waves or on the slopes snowboarding, they also have some badass new snow goggles. I'm thinking about getting a pair. I want to get a pair just to wear on the show.
I live on a beach and I want to get a pair just to wear them.
Hell yeah. But man, check them out. They're awesome. You never look cooler.
You never look cooler. And instead of how cool we look, you can look like Connor with the circular sunglasses, which isn't cool. Everybody obviously can tell that.
Right. Unsponsored. These are straight off of like a little corner store. Yeah, these are unsponsored. I don't even know what brand these are.
I honestly think Yeats has a similar pair that looks like
they
that.
do. They do, actually.
I'm down for the circular Yeats glasses. I'm also down for the snow goggles. If I find a way to get my hands on some Yeats snow goggles, I may just wear them to every race I go to.
Well, you can find a way to get your hands on a pair of those. It's called yeatsofficial.com, 10% discount code Chairgatin.
Hey.
Enjoy. So welcome on, Connor. I know you were kind of our number one commenter on episode 1 of season 4. So Dakota's like, dude, we got to get him on. And I was like, hell yeah. Anybody that comments a shit ton is always welcome on the show. It's pretty much how this works. So thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad I was able to find my way back on a podcast. It's been about a year since I've actually been on a podcast or hosted one myself. So I may be a little bit rusty, but I appreciate the invite and jumping on with you guys and talk about NASCAR as we jump back into the season here.
Oh, yeah. The con man is back.
And that we are doing. And I can tell Dakota's on his phone because I hear that fucking noise. All right. For anybody watching, me and Dakota have been working on his mic setup for a while now.
I was literally going to text you and say I can't see the comments if there's any because it says private chat.
Weird. I can see the comments.
I can't. There must be some link you shared or something.
Here's a comment right here. We'll go... Of course, we got the first comment.
This is OJ Simpson, Nicole's drive. Oh my god! We definitely gotta get Dalton back on the show with his
with those takes,
bad takes.
We will definitely be getting into it.
I've been driving Dalton nuts lately. I just keep everything he says. I'm like, that's such a bad take, Dalton. That's like the worst take I've ever heard. He's like, fuck you, man. It's not a bad take.
It'll be about anything too. It's not just about NASCAR.
Like, God,
it could be about
that's
food.
Fucking stupid thing I've ever heard, Dalton.
Any take he has on college football is going to be bad. He's a Tennessee fan.
Oh, dude, yeah. You should hear his NASCAR takes.
So what's first on our itinerary to discuss?
All right, boys. I don't know if y'all watched. I'm pretty sure all of us did, but NASCAR is back. We're going to break down everything NASCAR. I just like having the boys over and like breaking in the new man cave, like fucking, we got pizza on deck, monsters are flowing, and we're watching pre-race. Like, dude, look, it's fucking race day. It's Sunday, man. I hope y'all enjoy as much as I did, dude. We went racing, new cars, new track, new market. I was gonna see
Hey,
what all we thought about that.
Your tweet with the little man cave setup, that went a little viral.
I wasn't gonna bring it up.
You didn't want to humble brag, huh?
No,
Okay.
yeah, but Spencer Boyd shared it. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I need to see this. I haven't seen it.
Caitlin Vincey liked it. I was like, what's up?
He may or may not be a future guest. I'll just mention that.
Ooh.
Yeah, he shared it. Everybody was sharing it. It's a sick setup. That's what I was telling you.
I can't wait to get you boys down here.
Yeah.
Fucking break her in.
Yeah, it's a sick setup. It's
right.
like for anybody that saw the tweet, saw the photo.
Now disconnected from iPhone.
Oh,
What was that?
My fault. That was my Alexa going off.
damn it, Alexa.
Don't get her
a
going.
real girlfriend, dude.
Hey, I need one. It's around Valentine's Day.
No, it's a perfect time to not have one, actually.
Yes.
So for anybody wondering, Dakota shot, like the picture he took was behind the couch, right, Dakota? That's where you're at?
Yeah.
So essentially, if you pan to the right, that's where he's sitting right there. Like the whole downstairs is set up like that. It's a sick setup. I wish you had that part in the photo too, like where you're doing the podcast, because that's also dope.
Yeah, I should have. I don't know. I almost am like, maybe I should do my podcast over there, but I'm like, I like having them separate.
No, I like having them set. It's a sick setup. You need to post a picture of the whole thing eventually. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I do. Well, I was going to when I finished it. I'm like halfway.
Yeah. Well, it's a good look. I had the 4 TV setup. Which,
Yeah, was that your parents' house?
Yeah,
Your house?
of course. Of course of course I go to my parents. They have that sick setup. I'm not gonna watch it at my house when they have that down the road.
Dude, I was like, that's sick. I was like, there's no way. I was like, no way you're that balling.
No, you know the level I'm balling at. That's not the level I'm balling at. Not yet. Connor, where'd you watch the race?
I watched the race from my living room, from my new apartment. I used to have a dope man cave set up. Dakota knew.
Yeah, he did. He had like strobe lights and everything.
Strobes, the whole nine. I was also living there. I was living in somebody's basement, so
Okay.
it was basement / man cave. But now I just chill and watched it from my apartment. So
Nice.
nothing too special.
Where are you located at?
I live in Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So.
He's a Martinsville boy.
Yeah,
it's
I'm only
good
about
NASCAR area.
only about 30 minutes from Martinsville. So
Yeah, when we check out Martinsville, we need to hit the boy up.
oh yeah.
Definitely. Cool. Well, glad to have you on. I mean, should we just jump into like recapping the entire race?
I mean, I feel like the heats kind of blended together, but I think that it was awesome. I was coming in optimistic. I was talking about how I wasn't sure about this. I'm a very big advocate for Daytona and Daytona racing, but dude, nothing about this disappointed me. The new cars took a beating.
Nothing disappointed you?
Maybe the fans. That fucking new cars took a beating. I think they did I'll get into it into my takes.
Right.
But the new track was cool. Like they pulled it off, I think. I literally was like, how's this shit gonna race? But it took grip. Like it really worked. And LA, man. I mean, I think Connor's a huge advocate for LA. You should wear your LA hat. That'd been perfect.
I should have.
But I'm not really huge on wanting to go out there. But hey, it seemed like a lot of people showed up. Seemed like a lot of people watched this thing. Putting NASCAR in new markets was a success. I was skeptical, like, are we really gonna show up this motherfucker? But at the end of it, man, it was packed.
Technically, is it a new market though?
And I also thought that too. It's like, well,
because everyone's been saying like it's in LA, which means all the fans there are new race fans. And I get like there were a lot of new ones because of the marketing. But I was like, I mean, LA's had racing for a long time. Like,
yeah. Oh, they got Irwindale out there.
That's like saying like, dude, they're going to Dallas. That's a new market. It's like, well, Fort Worth has a track. I mean, it's not like a new market. It's
I totally agree with you on that. Like, it's more of just maybe it's so close, like right there, the city's in the background that like, hey, that's that NASCAR sport people talk about.
And I think they did definitely attract new fans, but I think that was mostly due to like the marketing that they've done for it, not the fact that it's in LA necessarily. Like if this was in Seattle, I would be like, that's a totally new market. That's untapped.
Yeah.
I mean, LA they've been working on forever.
I love seeing a bunch of people showing pictures of the merchandise hauler lines and shit. And
holy shit, dude,
that was awesome. Packed. That was like, people there buying shit. You could tell that everybody's like wearing new clothes. Like people were just like, fuck it, I want to Chase Elliott shirt. It was all a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. What do you think, Connor?
Yeah,
you're a fan of LA?
Yeah, I'm a fan of LA. I'll admit I was a bit skeptical.
You look like you'd be a fan of LA, Connor.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I was a bit skeptical when NASCAR said that they were going there, and then when originally looking at the track, my first two thoughts were, how are they going to get around the corners? Because the corners look so tight.
Right.
And if the car was sustainable enough to race on there, and I was very impressed with the speeds. For one, I mean, they weren't super high, but for what they were and the car's ability to get around the corner, I was impressed by that. And then like Dakota said, I mean, these cars took a hell of a beating, and that was encouraging too, is just to see how many bumps and stuff there were without any like major consequences. I feel like with the last car, if you would have ran in the back of somebody as much as Dillon did, I mean, we would have had flat tires left and right. We would have had torn up corner panels, like debris all over the track. So I was very impressed with how the car was able to hold up for the most part for guys who didn't get junked like Almirola. But I was very impressed. I was shocked, and I ate my words with pride, because that was awesome to see, like the merch lines and everything too. I thought they'd have had a good amount of people come out to the race and stuff, but to actually see people buying up the merch and stuff like that, hopefully NASCAR attracted some more lifelong fans, and who knows, maybe even Fontana's ticket sales will go up in the next few weeks. I don't know what that looks like, but you got to imagine some people might be like, hey, let's go to Fontana now.
Yeah, I was very curious with that as well. Is like, I mean, I think it's going to be very refreshing to get back to Auto Club. I mean, I think we all can't wait. But then, like, hey, how does this affect their ticket sales? I mean, I don't know logistically the mileage between those, but like, I'm sure it's driving distance.
It's about an hour and a half drive out of LA.
Like,
so,
I'm sure there's a bunch of new Logano fans after that race that were there, and we're like, holy shit, what, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? There's another race out here? I mean, heck yes. Dad, I want to go, or let's go again. Oh shit, Vegas, like the diehards, they might I'm going to hit, there's a West Coast series. Like, let's go to all of them. I don't know. I'd like to see how this affected going forward down through the years.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like overall, it was just a breath of fresh air for the sport too. Like, just something new. I mean, I know we did the Daytona road course last year, but not the duels. Like, it was just, it became so drawn out with Daytona, and we were tearing up equipment, and then we just weren't putting butts in seats and stuff. So I think even going out to this market, taking as big as a leap as NASCAR did, I mean, it was just a breath of fresh air. For one, to see us do something different, and for two, to see it be as much of a success that I believe it was.
I totally agree.
Well, I mean, should we just get into the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Ooh,
because a lot of what I'm about to discuss is like on the list of shit that I wanted to do with.
Well, I was gonna jump on that. Was just like, when's the last time you saw 50,000 fans at the Busch Clash or the Bud Shootout, Sprint Unlimited? What it is. The pre-Daytona 500.
Literally
race.
Everything you're saying right now is what we were going to discuss in the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Then let's crank it up. Good, bad, ugly. We need a logo to pop up.
We do need a logo to pop up.
Comment. Is there a way to add logos while we're live?
Essentially, for anyone wondering, we're going to do a new segment where we're going to do the good, the bad, and the ugly for each race, for each episode after the race, where we're just going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly from each race. Even if it's a great race, we're going to bring up what we can for the ugly. This was obviously a great race, so there's not going to be too much to discuss there. And then we're going to give each race a final score. Connor, I don't know if you had stuff prepared for this, but if not, we're just going to kind of go around one by one and discuss it. And then you can just come up with shit on the fly if you want.
Gotcha.
I can start out because this is why I wanted to bring up the good, the bad, and the ugly. My first thing on the good, as Dakota just mentioned, was the crowd. Just in general, the crowd was incredible. It filled up. I said the episode right before this race. I was like, I don't think many people are going to show up because I think there's a mask mandate. I think there's a vaccine mandate, all this stuff. Nobody's wearing masks there. So clearly I was way off on that. And everybody fucking showed up. So I was way off on that too. I am willing to admit that I was horribly wrong, but I'm happy to admit that I was horribly wrong because, I mean, that place was packed.
Yeah. I was totally blown away. Like, holy shit, there's a lot of people there. You could tell, like, I don't know how it was being there. Like, if they were like, oh shit, is it starting? I thought it started at 6 or something, or whatever, West Coast time. But it's like, it seemed like, I know they panned out, and it seemed during the heats, like it was probably like half capacity, and people were there. But
yeah, because I mentioned that too. I was like, it doesn't look very full. Like, this is bad.
But by the main time, they were definitely getting some cool shots. One of the sickest things was, I guess it was the helicopter doing the shots above, but they did that shot just like they did the commercial where they came over the flames burning, and it was like focused on the flame, and you just saw the track with the actual race going on in the background, and then they transitioned the focus to the cars, and it was just like, whoever just did that shot needs a fucking race. Like, it was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think they said it was 50 to 60,000 people there, and I believe it. It looked full.
That was another thing I was skeptical on too, was the crowd and what it would look like. Because NASCAR came out and said they had sold about 70% capacity, but NASCAR that's the same people who roll out the fan counts every week. Yes, so you don't know if you can believe them, but then
take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly, but then seeing it on TV and stuff, I was actually quite impressed. I didn't expect it to be full by the heat races and stuff. Just knowing how the LA crowd is, like LA sports fans are so weird about when they show up to events. Notoriously, the Lakers and Dodgers games. Dodgers games, they'll show up bottom of the 4th inning. Lakers games, they'll show up 4 minutes before halftime. Like, it's super weird, and then they tend to leave early too. So,
Connor, did you live in Connor, did you live in LA, or did you just do like weird research on LA fans?
I think he frequents there often.
I frequent there often. I have friends who live there, so I know how they like. They will leave to go to the game 5 minutes before the game starts, and then take that in consideration with LA traffic. So, like, I don't know. It makes no sense to me, especially for the price of admission you have to pay for anything out there. But I was thoroughly impressed by the crowd, especially by the main.
That's like when you're at the race and it's like almost the end of the first stage and you just see people leaving and you're like, the fuck why'd you even come?
And that was another thing I wanted to point out was one of my concerns with the crowd when I saw how great it was. We're going to talk about the fucking halftime show. Trust me, we will get into that. But I was worried. I was like, shit, they did it at halftime or whatever they're calling it. I was worried maybe people would start to leave after that because I was like, are people here for the Ice Cube concert? And then you see them pan around. Nobody's really into the music and the whole crowd stayed. So I was like, okay, clearly they came for the race, which is great. I mean, it's cool that Ice Cube's there, don't get me wrong, but like it seemed like they showed up for the race and they were staying for the race.
Yeah. It seemed like I don't know, they kept panning to like 10 plus people that were standing like right there by the stage. And I mean, I'll get into my bad and ugly takes, but
and the student section, dude.
Yeah, they definitely kept filming that student section.
They liked the student section,
but
I will say the student section looked like straight out of Talladega. Though
it did look like Talladega.
You know what? I was impressed with the student section. I was like, that's a NASCAR student section. That's
all I could think of was we're at the NASCAR races. It's like there were some dumb bimbos down there, like and then dumb drunk college kids like
wearing cowboy
go
hats.
Earnhardt and all that shit.
Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, and just maybe, I'm okay with everybody having a good time, but, hey, were they taking it serious? Do we create new fans? I don't know. But, we know what the college crowd's like. But I hope they had a great time. I bet it was good.
I hope they had a good time. That's all.
When Ice Cube came on, they were like, who the fuck is this guy?
No, I guarantee they were like, oh, that's the actor from Are We There Yet? Because those kids have to be so young, dude.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I feel like young too.
I'm 23, but hey man, I know of Ice Cube and stuff. So like, I don't know. I feel like half the crowd there was like strictly there for the race, and then the other half was like, oh, shit, Ice Cube's here. Like, okay, that's cool because it seemed like,
Pitbull, like
yeah,
it was big names. I mean, there were
like,
celebrities there.
yeah, and that kudos to NASCAR for being able to reach out and get those guys
Yeah.
there. I mean, that's a reach itself just to get. I mean, Pitbull probably wasn't that hard because he is a team owner now.
Dude, did y'all know that Pitbull just in his first year as a team owner has sold more records than any other team owner?
No shit. But he actually, it's interesting because he actually came to Roanoke a few years ago and performed down at this like downtown outside venue, and nobody went. Like, not a soul. Like,
I think I remember hearing about that actually.
You weren't finding people there who weren't like. I mean, the people who were there were like 45 plus, and it was like a date night and stuff.
Yeah.
Tickets were hella cheap, and kids still didn't go. So, like, I don't know. It is Pitbull and stuff, but like I said, kudos to NASCAR just for being like. I was impressed that they were able to get Ice Cube out there. I know Ice Cube is a big public figure in LA, and he likes to be involved and likes to rep the city. But to get him out there, that was sick.
I'm not.
I get it. I get it.
If the paycheck doesn't bounce, he'll show up. I'm sure.
Yeah. That's the thing is, who knows what they had to pay him?
Yeah. I mean,
what he was accepting.
They paid.
Hey, it's a good step in the right direction. It wasn't fucking Luke Combs. It wasn't Dustin Lynch. It wasn't this, modern.
Well, it wouldn't have fit the demographic.
It wasn't a Tim Duggar crap. It was, hey, LA. I mean, back in the 90s, Ice Cube was Ice Cube, and that's pretty cool.
I still think NASCAR is a huge swing and a miss for not getting more Kid Rock live performances at races.
Now
the NASCAR crowd would love some Kid Rock.
Oh God,
that's all I'm saying.
That would be badass.
That's their demo.
You'd have these Twitter kids just fucking ranting and raving about it. But hell, I think too is like it's the right direction if they keep doing this or going to these markets. Is like, who else could they get? I'm not saying I'm a fan, but like. Say, what if they had that like crowd and the race and like Machine Gun Kelly fucking performed or some shit? It would be huge and like that would be great. Eyes, he's a icon or whatever. Is like eyes on the sport. Like,
wait, you think Machine Gun Kelly would put eyes on NASCAR?
You want to get the college girls out and stirring?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
You get MGK at the Coliseum.
I didn't say I was a fan.
I don't think that would work. I don't think that would give the NASCAR the crowd they're looking for.
Well,
I think they went with
Barstool Sports. He's hot gossip right now.
I don't care.
And
I think the
kids want to see.
I think they went with Ice Cube because he can reach the older demo also, which makes sense. I mean, it's NASCAR. You have to reach like the older. If they're going for the college kids, it probably.
Well, the older demo has a job and pays for things. So,
right.
Who do you think's funding the younger generation that's going to the races?
No, that doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Dakota, what's your first good? Yeah.
My first good?
Because I'm guessing crowd was already in yours or something.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, this is going to be super generic, is how fucking fun it was. I had so much fun watching the whole thing.
You didn't write down anything for good, bad, ugly, did you?
You give me no fucking credit.
You wrote down fun?
Yes, the whole fucking race was fun. When's the last time you watched the Clash?
Is that written in your notes? Fun?
Yes, right here. Hold on. So the whole race was fun.
All right.
I said, me and Justin Nathan talked for an hour after the race, and I said, I fucking enjoyed that. I had so much fun watching the race. Yeah. It was great. I wasn't at any point like, I mean, this is stupid. Like, we should be at Daytona. I said that before the race. Like, I would still wish it was at Daytona, but fuck, that was awesome. Like, that was the whole thing was like, this totally revamped the Clash. I mean, who gave a shit about the Clash before this? Is like now, like, hey, that's a whole new. Who gives a shit about the All Star? We got the Clash to look for.
That's a great point. Let's be honest before we even move forward. Who gave a shit about the Clash? I mean, let's just be real. You know what I mean?
It was fun. Like,
we watched it because it was like the start of the NASCAR season. They were already in Daytona, but like at the end of the day, I was like, I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is that tonight?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. This was hyped the fuck up. People showed up.
Yeah. Exactly back to the point. When's what did last year's Clash crowd have? I'm not okay. Pause. I'm not entertaining a Daytona road course Clash. That to me doesn't even count. I'm talking about worse. Yeah. I'm talking about Oval Speedway Clash or Busch Shootout.
Right.
The road course that we'll just throw that in the trash. But the good old Bud Shootout days, junior days, Like they sold that motherfucker out, and that's kind of what this reminded me of. Is like, yo, look, and then the potential to go to new markets and do whatever they want to with a spectacle now. Damn it, Alexa. It's like, I just think it was awesome. The whole thing was badass.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Like I think I either texted Dakota or told somebody else. That was probably the most fun from start to finish. Saturday festivities to the time they dropped the checkered flag on Sunday. That was probably the most fun I've had watching a race from home. That I had, and I can remember. And the thing was, it's a Busch Clash. A race that doesn't even count. We're not even at the. We're not even like to our bread and butter yet with the Daytona 500, and which that is just huge for the sport. That for me, I consider myself a diehard and somewhat an old head when it comes to NASCAR. Like I like the traditional way of doing things. I've been on record to kind of be pushy towards what NASCAR has been trying to do in the direction they've been trying to go, and I've been very skeptical of it. But I had a ton of fun just sitting down watching. I'm talking from practice to qualifying, like the whole thing just had me intrigued about how this would all work, and they pulled it off. So I had a ton of fun watching the race.
I had more fun watching that than I did Phoenix.
Yeah,
championship race.
Ooh, that's a really good point.
I'm just gonna say, I like from the time the first heat race started to the finish, I was like tuned into the TV. Phoenix was awesome, but I was kind of like, wow, crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you know what you're gonna get with a championship race. You're gonna get the top 4 guys running in the top 4. I mean, they're gonna mix and match for the lead and stuff every now and then. Like everybody's gonna have their time of the race and stuff. But this was a blank sheet of paper going in. Nobody knew what was going to happen. Nobody knew who was going to make the race. Nobody knew who was going to wreck, like what it was going to look like. So it was just like you had you might have had a filler for how it could have gone going into it. But in reality, I mean, nobody could have guessed anything.
And also, how do we feel about the exhibition race format with the heats that lead up to?
I don't think they could have done it really any better. I think maybe we could have, maybe tweaked some of the laps, maybe made heats longer, the LCQs shorter. I think that could have been interesting, because there was definitely guys that were better on long runs. Like you could tell the guys were coming and then some guys would fall off.
I agree. I think they kept it shorter for the new fans because they know how NASCAR is. They're trying to test shorter stuff.
Yeah.
I think maybe extend heats a little bit more because I agree. Whoever was starting pole in the inside, like they won. I mean, it was almost inevitable.
Unless you're Bubba Wallace.
That's true. He really was the only one that did it, honestly. Yeah. But usually they just pulled away. Like Denny Hamlin, they'll be showing battles, and then you're like, wait, where is Denny again? And then they're like, oh, he's like a lap ahead, and it's like a 20-lap heat race. And you're like, well, that's fucking dumb. Like,
one thing I had talked about was, for the main event, was if you didn't start in like that top 6 or 8, you were kind of irrelevant. You never really had the time to get going or get up, drive through the field and get up there. It seemed like kind of the top 5 just kind of stayed that way. I mean, some guys had some mechanical issues. We'll get to that topic, but it's like you had guys fall out or, a couple wrecks here and there, but it seemed like 8th through 18th just kept swapping places and beating the shit out of each other. And the top 6 just kind of pulled off and negotiated lap traffic.
Yeah, I mean the format was great. I just think extending it a little bit, I think would have been like 100% perfect. But I'm just being picky here. I don't want to sound like too negative. I thought the format was great.
Well, Nathan told me too is like because I was like 150 laps. This is gonna go by really fast. I know they threw a concert in the middle, and there was yellows, and it was like, is this too short? But then it's like it's the Busch Clash. This isn't like a points race, and I was like, yeah, good point. This is exhibition.
I still think it was too short. I just like watching more racing, and I like to see what plays out the longer they go. But I get it. Like,
well, at the end of it, we saw 300 laps of racing.
Yeah,
throughout the day.
Still not 300 laps on. I mean, what, a quarter-mile track? That's
something. I don't know.
Still not enough for me.
I agree with the heats. I would have made the heats slightly a little bit longer. I would have made them 100 laps and then the LCQ 50.
Yeah, that would be great. That's all I would ask for. I'm not asking for like a shit ton more, but that's perfect.
But I like the idea of the heats. That was another thing.
It was fun. It was fun.
It added a lot of fun to it. Yeah,
like 8 guys. We're only taking top 3, motherfucker.
And then you get to see crazy motherfuckers like Ty Dillon be like, "Dude, they said last chance."
Yeah.
Yeah. I I
We'll
like
definitely get to that.
Yeah,
I thought at first like the heats were just going to be an excuse to tear up a bunch of shit and get the crowd rowdy. But I was totally wrong with that. I like the ideas of the heats because it adds a new like element to the Cup Series, at least, that we just haven't seen before. I mean, if this is something that we could, continue further on down the line and make a regular thing, I think that would be nice, because I think with the 550 package, we got to the point to where in qualifying, you would see some teams just sacrifice speed for handling and be like, fuck it, we'll qualify 25th, we'll be in the top 10 by the end of stage one. And
Right,
it just made
100%.
and it was like, okay, well, what's the point? Because you knew the guys who qualified 17th to 28th were going to be running top 15, top 10 by the end of the first stage. And you knew the guys who qualified top 7 were going to be all the way back there in 21st by the end of it. So it was like, it got too predictable. I like the unpredictability aspect of this. And I like how there was a good amount of action and stuff, but I mean, it wasn't a total junkyard and stuff too. So
No, yeah, I think it
Yeah.
was a good balance. I think everyone talks about obviously like what Ty Dillon was doing, but
Dude,
but it wasn't too much of it. It wasn't just absurd.
hey, I've been preaching this for fucking years now. I'll stand on this. Caution laps didn't count. And that to me is a huge fucking element to points racing. I think would be great. But they're fucking listening. The Busch Clash, no yellow laps won't count. And it made they didn't sit there and run off 20,
Right.
Yellow laps of the green flag racing. It's like, wow, I'd love to see that at the Daytona 500 as well. I paid fucking money to be here. I want to watch the race. I don't want to watch y'all run 12 caution laps while you get the flat tire guy off the track.
I just think it's probably inevitable that NASCAR starts to shorten races because they've been teasing it for a while.
It's already happened with Martinsville.
And here's the thing, if they start doing that, but they're like, hey, we're gonna implement heat races also, I think I'd be like, I'm interested.
I like
the
what
I mean?
Races for the spectacle of the Clash. I don't want to see it on my point.
You don't want to see it? You would not. Okay,
No.
so what if they're like, either we're cutting it down to 300 miles, like for races?
300 miles, yellow flags don't count. I'm sold.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think the heats work because hey, y'all had to drive all the way out to fucking Phoenix, out West Coast again, and you didn't make it, so go the fuck home. You're not in the main event again. It's like,
yeah, but what's the difference if they're in the main event or not? It's all about who wins.
At least be in the race. Like every team in the race, I just think it's about it works for the spectacle events, but not for the big show. Like the race is supposed to be the big show.
I don't know. Like dirt racing, they do heats. Like that's pretty common. Like a lot of other type of racing.
I think it could work at some tracks. I think other tracks it wouldn't work as well. I will say
Talladega heats.
No.
Yeah,
don't touch.
No.
Well, just there's certain races you don't touch. And so I think NASCAR, when they start making tweaks, it's going to be at like Texas Motor Speedway, like places where honestly, Atlanta, places where people don't really pay as much attention to.
Yeah.
I don't think they're touching Daytona or Talladega for a long fucking time.
I think they're just embedded for life.
Yeah.
I will say though, I don't like how there was a Champions provisional for Truex to get in and not even
I didn't like
that
race either.
Because
Nathan
it's like,
was talking about
look,
it, I was like, this is bullshit.
Look, I understand it. Like, I understand why they wouldn't want to do it, didn't want to go out there and tear up your stuff. But it's like, get the fuck out there, pussy. Like, get out there and race like everybody else. Like, I don't care if you're going to be a Champions provisional. Quit being a pussy. Get out there and race. Like, we designed this heat event for you to race your way in. And here we are, handing out Champions provisionals.
And there was a lot of big names that didn't get in.
Exactly. And this is where the All-Star race went wrong too, is because they had the shootout to get into the All-Star race, and then they're like, shit, this ain't enough. So they just started giving out handouts, champion provisionals,
you finished
all this
top
stuff.
5. You got a top 15. You're in.
Yeah, and it just defeated the whole purpose.
Got new shoes. You're in.
Because if I'm a Truex fan and I went to that race, I'm kind of pissed. Because I feel like I got short.
Nathan's a Truex fan, and he also agrees. He wasn't a fan of that.
Yeah,
I'm glad I wasn't.
Hey, if Kyle Larson needed it, he got it. If he didn't use it, then nobody got it. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Either
give it to one
Kyle
guy.
Kyle Larson's reigning champion. If he needs it, he can use it. But if not, then none of y'all are fucking getting it.
So another one of my goods was the aggressive short track racing, which is kind of what we're already talking about. So I figured I would just throw that out there. I love the fact that of all the things that they were talking about doing this with, the only aspect of it that I was always like, okay, I like that, was the fact that it was going to be such a short track. That made me really excited.
Well, I remember you were skeptical. Like, dude, these brand new cars, this dumb race. You think they're really going to be beating and banging?
That's what I was worried
And
about. Yeah, no,
boy,
I like
did
the
they
idea of the short track. I was worried about them using their new cars and being too scared to drive aggressive. So
And
that's
mean,
why I
them
have it
things
on my
took
good.
They
Was
took a fucking beat.
exactly. Yeah, they didn't give a fuck, and I loved that. They
Yeah.
drove hard, especially guys
I
like
was-
Ty Dillon.
I was very impressed with like the lick the cars were taking, how aggressive guys were being. Just like, fuck it, I'm gonna send it, man.
Well,
you know, so
Dakota, is
re-
Ty
well,
Dillon on your list of the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Not at all.
Okay, so then let's just talk about it right now.
Yeah, I love Ty Dillon.
How did you feel about his performance?
Fucking
Coming in
loved
like a
it.
wrecking ball.
I already liked Ty. I was really like kind of digging this new revamp of his career he's got going on. I really loved like, oh man, it seems like he didn't have to go to the Truck Series to start over. Like he just took a year off, and he's probably in the best seat he's going to be in or has been in. And he's got bringing sponsors in. And hey, I've been off for a whole season. I'm back, and this is my shot to get in the show. I'm in the LCQ. Get the fuck out of my way. I loved it. It seemed like people hated it. I saw tons of people trashing it and like,
Oh, yeah,
he's
people
being
were not
aggressive.
happy.
He's a wrecking ball. Dalton Good is like, dude. I hate drivers when they're aggressive. Oh, I want my driver to pull over and get out of the way.
But you know, when his driver Kyle Busch wrecks everybody in the fucking field in front of him, he loves it.
Yeah,
that's annoying. You got to be.
Fuck Kyle Busch.
When Dale Earnhardt wrecks people, we love it. But when Ty Dillon bumps people, it's bad racing. What the fuck is that?
Okay, first of all, one thing I do need to mention about Ty Dillon, and this is almost like an inside joke with me and Dakota. That dude, of all drivers, their number one struggle is always finding sponsorships. Ty Dillon pulls sponsorships out of his fucking ass.
He's fucking somebody.
I swear he has better deals than his brother Austin. Any car he gets in, he has like a season-long sponsor. He's like, oh, Geico ever fucking heard of him? They'll just sponsor me for a whole season.
The 96 deal last year in Daytona 500 with that badass Black Rifle Bass Pro scheme.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
And now he's got Black Rifle on his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it, dude.
Of all the dudes, that dude does not he doesn't have performances, but he always has sponsors, so I gotta give him credit.
Man. I mean, we'll talk. Eric Jones was fucking beating and banging this week, and he got up there in the top 5. Very impressive with the, this petty GMS deal. I mean, I think if you put Ty Dillon in that fucking main event, he was probably gonna get up there too. It was fun. I think he kind of made some like dumbass moves. He was in the show. If he could have just like maybe been a little more patient on his restarts.
He was in it.
3 times he blew the restart. It was like, dude, stop. Like, just stop doing that.
I think he was getting too aggressive. I don't know how many lines he did before the race, but he was hyped up.
Yeah, I like the aggression, but the execution could have been a whole lot, especially when he restarted with the lead there at the end. Like all he had to do was just keep the shit.
It was over.
Yeah.
But he jumped the damn restart zone. It's just about as bad as I've ever seen anybody. And
yeah,
so
it was obvious.
the aggression I love. Like that's what this race was designed for. I love the guys having the balls to do it because when you break it down, like
special delivery.
Oh, when you break it down, like this whole event, like there's pride behind this with the guys too. Like
it should be. Yeah,
these guys want to be the first guys to win at the Coliseum. I mean, that's cool enough alone with the history behind that place, and B with the new next gen car. I mean, everybody wants to say they were the first ones to take to victory lane. How many of those guys had a realistic shot? That's debatable. But everybody's going in there with a sense of pride. And when you got to do what you got to do to get in, especially when you're with a new team like that, I mean, yeah, that's what the event was designed for. This wasn't a points-paying race. This didn't decide any championship. Nothing was on the line other than pride. And so I commend Ty for the way he raced. I just wish his execution was better.
And that's a brand new team. I mean, there's a lot of new teams here. It's like, that's a brand new team out there making all this hype, whether you loved it or not. Like, they were fast.
I mean, his comments after the race I thought were great. He was just very level-headed, spoke about it. He was just like, look, they told me this was my last chance to get in and to drive hard, and I fucking did it. And it's like,
I would have been like, fuck them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly. He went in there like, fuck them.
He also made a point. He was like, it's not for points. And I think that's a good point. Like, obviously you're going to make enemies if you wreck them a little bit here and there, but of all the races where you can kind of get away with it without making too many like long-term enemies, it would be on a race that doesn't involve points, nothing that affects your season, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't affect our season. I think you could kind of get away with it here. And so I think that was smart. He drove really aggressive. And I don't know. It almost worked out. He was just an idiot.
Yeah. You win some, you lose some. You live and you learn. You can go on to the next one. You know?
All right, Dakota, what was another good that you had?
Oh, God. Yeah. Practice and qualifying. Mic drop. Practice is back. Qualifying is back. I fucking loved it. Saturday, I can't remember the last time I was like, ooh, practice. Like, I gotta see this. We were grocery shopping, and I was like, shit. I was pulling up on my phone. Like, I gotta see this. I gotta see these cars. I gotta see this track. I gotta see what's going on. NASCAR's back. And qualifying at 8:30. I kind of like that. Like, hey, we practice every day, and then main time, fucking prime time. Hey, we're qualifying 1 lap. Who's gonna get it? Like, it was fun, dude. It just was like, yeah, this is what needed to happen for the last 2 years. Trying to shove all this shit in and packages and all this in this stupid qualifying format bullshit and
Fucking math formulas.
And no practice, just show up, fuck you, and fuck your
Yeah.
entertainment.
That was the worst.
Dude, the whole week, it was a whole week. Look, and it was just the Cup Series. There was no truck, Xfinity, la-di-da, just the Cup Series. Practice and qualify on Saturday, race on Sunday. I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go along with that. I like the group practice style.
Yeah.
I was a fan of that. I was skeptical about how that would go too, but I liked it particularly for the purposes of how short the track was. You can't just throw every car out there. But I did like that. I like the aspect of the 1 lap qualifying or the 2 lap qualifying, and then that kind of set up the heat races too. So I was a big fan of that. So I'm right there with you on
100%. I think we were all happy to see that back.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single race fan out there. That might be like the one thing that could unite Twitter race fans.
It could. Don't hold your breath on it, but it could.
Anybody that was like, no, I hate practice and qualifying, we'd be like, okay, you're just not a fan then. I know you're fucking lying.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah.
But you always have those people.
Also, another thing that I definitely wanted to bring up was how the cars looked, these new cars.
That was my other good.
Okay, there you go. I mean, look, we'll talk about number placements because that might be on the list on another category. But how the cars looked, fucking
them motherfuckers.
Sick.
I think like 80 times during the race, I talked about the wheels, and I just kept saying, "Fucking wheels look so good, dude."
I know, and I've been so against the single lug. I think, a little against it, just with the functionality and everything. But how they look, I can't argue. They look sick,
dude.
Yeah, the cars themselves look really good. I mean, the best looking cars in like modern history.
Yeah, no, I mean, and 20-year vet fan here. I've seen some very good fucking looking cars, and these are taking the cake. I was very skeptical of this whole next gen and shortening the rear end and everything. And also too, man, you see them seeing them like onboard shots and the car be in front of them, and you could just like see the curves of the car with like the big back end and just like a big booty bitch right there.
It was symmetrical. It looked clean.
Fucking good.
Yep.
And I mean, I was just like, dude, those things are so sexy. And I was curious of how the diffusers were going to work. Like, and people were slamming them. These cars took a fucking ass beating, and I didn't see no flat tires. I mean, Ryan Blaney, maybe, whatever.
I think that was a big part, was the lack of flat tires.
I saw tons of pictures after the race where cars were just beat to shit, and the fenders never touched the tires. Like Nathan said, with the composite bodies, why didn't we do this like fucking 3 or 4 years ago when the Xfinity series did it? They've been doing it for years, and those are put on the best races.
Yeah, that was the biggest part.
I can't wait to see how. I mean, I'll get into my bad and ugly. As like, I can't wait to see how these things do when they really take a lick in it, like a Darlington or maybe some wall damage on some of these other tracks, a Homestead. But
we're gonna get a good test, literally just coming up in Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if there wasn't a part shortage now, there might be after Daytona. Who knows? But yeah, I think the cars look really good on track. They actually, in my opinion, for probably the first time since I've become a fan, these cars actually look like sporty race cars.
Yeah, they kind of look like a real car you could buy.
Ride height.
Yeah, exactly. The diffuser.
They came off and they went down in the corner. It's beautiful.
I felt like the diffuser was going to take all it was going to take was like one good lick, and that damn thing was going to come off. But nah, I mean that the whole car held intact from the front bumper to the rear bumper to the side panels, everything. Like it took a fucking lick.
I wasn't
and
there,
was
but
put
they
it.
sounded mean as fuck.
They did.
And qualifying, when they're like start them up and like the announcers be quiet and they just hear them like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I was like, dude, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
Yeah.
I
was like,
can't wait
that
to
sounds
hear
like a
these
fucking
things.
race car, dude.
I can't wait to hear these things in a week, dude.
That looks like and it sounds like a race car. You know, it was exactly what I wanted it to look like the whole time.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was really analyzing every aspect of the race because I knew we were gonna have this episode, and every time I just kept coming back to being like, those cars look fucking sick.
Yeah.
They just look good.
And
like,
all
there's
three,
no complaint.
all three manufacturers. I think they all three.
They
look
all
fucking
looked
sick.
good. Obviously, you know, Toyota, I'm still like, what are you still doing with the Camry? But, you know, whatever. That's their decision. That's fine. The only other good that I had, and I had way more goods, obviously, that's why this one's taking longer, was Tony in the booth.
Oh man.
Yeah,
dude.
you forgot about that one, right? Tony in the
Dude,
booth, man. He was good.
Tony fucking killed. Tony was awesome. He was like shitting on Clint Boyer with the sarcasm. Like Tony had good humor and good insight.
Yes.
Clint's like, give me a beer, buddy. It's like that shit. I can't stand that shit. But
I know
Tony
you
was
hate
like,
Clint, which is
I love
fine.
Clint, but that
No,
shit
you
just, I want to see a professional fucking broadcast. But it's like Tony was like, oh, you think that was crazy? Just watch this. Like that's all that we need. I would love to see just Tony go full time.
Even
but
Dale
then,
Jr.
you know, he's
tweeted about it. He was like,
Yeah.
Tony was fucking great in the booth.
Dude,
Like, he was
oh,
so good.
I don't know. I never saw anyone say anything during the heats. Like Kyle Busch won his heat, and then he went up in the booth and like broadcasted the next heat, and he was fucking killing it. I was literally like, Kyle Busch should definitely go to the booth when he retires.
Yeah, and also with the major like sponsorship shout.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah.
I'm just drinking my rowdy energy.
And he had his nose guard and everything. And
Yeah,
dude, I was like, but he was talking about, he was like, see, what I'm doing right here is I'm watching these guys' lines, I'm watching who's turning where, and he was like talking like an in-race reporter in the booth, and I was like, dude, Kyle Busch is.
How
a
funny
sleeper
will
on
it
this
be when
announcing.
everybody loves Kyle Busch as a commentator, and we have to remind
Yeah.
everybody how much they fucking hated him
Yeah.
as a driver.
He's underappreciated, man. He's one of the
He definitely
goats.
is. He
He's
definitely
one of the
is.
goats.
He's keeping the sport alive. Honestly, he has for
Yeah.
a while now.
Yeah, I like the booth. I think Tony and Clint, you know, they had natural chemistry together because, you know,
Yeah.
friends, owner, boss type deal. And then, you know, you throw Mike Joy in the mix. Mike Joy, he could blend in with the breadstick.
He's a
Like,
legend.
He's
Yeah.
one of those guys who you can put anybody with him and he'll find a way to make it work. So yeah, I was a big fan of Tony in the booth. I'm looking forward to the 500.
I love
to have
Mike
him,
Joy.
Clinton.
Like when I hear Mike Joy, I'm like, the race is on. Like it's a soothing. Like when I'm watching that,
Grandpa.
like Fox, yeah, like Fox aside in our later takes is like when I hear Mike
That's
Joy.
the one thing. Yeah.
When I hear Mike Joy, I'm like, oh yeah, racing's on.
But
It's like,
also,
they
I
go
know
two and two.
I know Dakota hates Clint Boyer like with a heated passion for some reason.
What?
I do think, like Connor said, Tony kind of helped elevate Clint. Also, he kind of
Yeah.
polished Clint up a little bit and
Yes, I'll
makes him a
agree
little
with
more
that.
palatable in the booth with him. So all in all, it's like, dude, sign that motherfucker to a contract. Whatever he's asking for, Fox, that he's worth it. He did a really, really good job. The only thing I will mention about him, the last thing, is that my mother thought he was a waiter at an Italian restaurant.
Oh my god.
He
looked
looked
like
like-
$1 million bucks.
He looked like an owner of an Italian restaurant. He looked like he would have came
Yeah.
around and asked how the breadsticks were. Go back and look. You're laughing
Yeah,
now.
he does.
Go back and find the fucking photo of him in the
does.
booth. He does look like he owns an Italian restaurant.
How is the
Just saying.
manicotti?
So I would definitely go to that restaurant if you're listening, Tony. Just a FYI.
Oof.
Put it in Indy. I'll go to that restaurant. Any other goods from you, Dakota? I know we had a lot.
Fucking just NASCAR dumping everything into this. Like
By
I
the way, that's a
appreciate
great point. Clint turns into DW.
I was gonna say
That actually, I could
Yeah.
see that. You know what?
Yeah,
I could
a
see that.
younger DW.
Yeah.
NASCAR just dumping everything into this, going balls deep or bust, and it paying off.
It
They've
paid
been
off.
they've been like shooting into this fandom fan, and this look, we're gonna change every fucking thing. And I mean, I've always skeptical, but this was one that they hit out of the park.
It
Home
paid
run.
off. I've admitted I was wrong.
I'll
Okay.
take this over a dirt race.
All right, the bad. Here we go.
Whew.
I'll start off. My first one. So I do want to mention the bad really is because it's the good, the bad, the ugly, right? So it's kind of a tiered system. The bad is more like minor things that you're like, they should probably fix going forward. But it's not the end of the world. And then ugly is like, come on, what are you fucking
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
So bad is just it can be hit or miss. It might be. I think bad is where people might disagree the most with because it's going to be kind of borderline stuff. My first thing would be the commercials during Green Flag Racing.
Yep.
It was such a short race, completely
why?
unnecessary. They had so many opportunities to put commercials. It didn't kill it for me. It was just really annoying when that came on. And I was like, dude, we're watching racing here. We have how many laps? Like, what are we
Yeah.
doing?
Of an hour of a race, and y'all are putting 10 commercials on here.
Nathan loves when I admit that I'm wrong. It does happen very rarely, so I'll give him that. It's not often. If that's what you're like looking for out of the show, you're not going to get it too much. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Obviously, I don't think anybody would disagree.
We bitched
with
about
that take.
commercials, and then like the second to last commercial break, or maybe the last one, they're like, "We bring you side by side," and it was like, "Why didn't you, Nathan? Bro, why didn't you do that shit the whole fucking time? Why can't every race on every network be like that?"
No, honestly, that's a great point.
Just do the side by side, dude.
Every
How much
time.
is the pay difference? Like, if caution comes out, we're doing show us our pit stops and like group it up. Then fucking okay, dude. Like, all right, throw the full commercial in. But like, oh, and Joey Logano's bumping competition brought to you by Kellogg's. It's like, dude, there was a lot of commercials. I'm glad we'll be at the 500 because I'm sure there's going to be a lot. But all
it's
that's
always
still
the worst. The 500 is always the worst.
All that's going to roll right into my ugly takes too. So
okay,
buckle your seats.
Okay, Connor.
Yeah,
feedback on that.
I agree. There was no reason for us to not be side by side anytime we were going to roll cautions this past Sunday, especially when you're on a track like that where there's literally action everywhere from about fourth on back. So, was not a fan of that, but it's, it wasn't the total end of the world. I mean, like you said, that we're just nitpicking here. But I definitely would have liked to see at least us do side by side.
Yeah.
Dakota, what's your first bad?
Okay. You may not agree, whatever. I thought the fucking driver intros was a great thought out idea. Coming down the stairs, gladiator style. Kyle Busch gave us a great fucking bite there. But the guy fucking announcing the driver intros.
Start fucking up.
Who gave him acid before this started?
Also, does he know any of the other driver? Like, does he know anything?
He
read the fucking height for Tyler Reddick.
Him what he said? 5'3", 145 pounds. Tyler Reddick. We got a black guy, Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, he was just literally like looking at a sheet of paper.
Mios, it's Daniel Suarez. I was like, dude, what the fuck? None of this went with like the next driver at all. And he was like some guy named Custer, is that his name? I don't know. Here he is, and then like it was so cringy.
No, who did he say? He said somebody has a name.
Dude, everything was random. It was like one random fucking fact about the driver coming down the stairs. Jeff Gordon will come out here, and then Jeff Gordon never showed up, so they just like cut to some seats, and they came back. Jeff Gordon was like, oh shit. Dude, there was a bunch of miscues.
Cringy picture of him holding.
And
honestly, the whole thing with the torch too was bad. Like all those grand marshals was bad.
There was stuff like that where I was like, "What?
Yeah,
fuck."
It was a little cringy.
Hey, you're fucking up. Like, come on.
Yeah, that was actually in my whole ugly category was the broadcast and how many
coming.
Yeah, how many oofs they made.
The actual broadcast itself is coming.
Yeah,
it's a shame such a gem like Mike Joy is on Fox because I feel like oftentimes we shit on the network, but we got this great gem in Mike Joy there. But driver intros. The idea was cool. Them coming out of the arches and stuff.
Stadium and the arch, the view, it was cool.
Great idea. The problem was where they were walking down looked empty as shit because that's where they had the team members and the spotters. They didn't have any of the fans there.
It was weird.
It would have been way cooler if they had fans, like they're walking through the fans or
doing the high fives and shit as they walk down.
that would have been
the
badass.
only person that excelled during that whole thing, of course, was Kyle fucking Busch.
Dude,
That
yeah.
dude,
Yeah,
Because he knows how to work a crowd.
he takes every
Yes, he does.
opportunity. It was so
Yeah.
good.
It makes me love him. Like, I'm literally like closet Kyle Busch.
He
I'm
turns
just like,
around straight to the
dude.
looks straight in the camera. He's like, "Yeah, baby. Like,
Are you
this is
not
what we're here-"
entertained?
Are you not
Yeah,
entertained?
yeah.
All you had to do was drop a motherfucker right there, and like, dude, I'm sold. I'm buying Kyle
Yeah,
Busch
that was
gear.
perfect. Honestly, he killed it.
It's just shotguns of rowdy energy right there in the stairs. Like,
The only
Yeah.
thing that would have put Kyle Busch in my good factor is if he would have turned Logano when he got the chance and won the race. I'm not even a Kyle Busch fan. That just would have been fucking
I think
crazy.
he was literally like, I'm gonna get him, and then
He just wasn't able
we
to.
saw how these tires worked. Is like they literally burned up. I mean, he said it. He said I burned them up, and you could see it. Like Joey Logano kept pulling away. It's like when he got there for like a lap and a half, 2 laps. He should have used it right when he got there.
Yep, I think you're right. I think he was planning it out. Like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna turn
gonna
him
get-
on like the last 2 laps or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have shipped his ass about 3 rows deep if I was Kyle, and that's probably what he would have done. He probably would have shipped him, but his
He owed
mindset
him
was,
one. That's what Joey did to get by him.
yeah. So in his mind, he was probably like, I'll get to him and stuff. I'll try and pass him clean. But literally, by the time he got to him, the shit's just burn up and stuff.
Another thing about it being a great race was I was like, look at this, like Kyle Busch versus Joey Logano, like this little, non-existent old rivalry.
Right.
Like,
regardless of the fucking cars we put these guys in, they're
like,
gonna
hey,
find each other.
Look, these
at
two
the end of the race.
These two greats about to duel this motherfucker for the win. I mean, it is what it was, and that's another thing I'm gonna throw in my bad was I saw people like, oh, it was good. Little lackluster finish. I'm like, when the fuck did we say that every finish has to be a barn burner, side by side photo finish? Like, that was a great race. Oh, we had can Joey Logano hold on? Kyle Busch is pushing late. Like, that's racing. That is what I fucking love. But because Kyle Busch didn't ship him up the corner or battle him Martinsville-esque to the finish, it was a lackluster finish. Like, no, that was a race, dude.
The problem with that is especially for new fans who come in with lofty expectations like that, is NASCAR does it to themselves. On their commercials and on their
all highlights.
Yeah, on their commercials and on their promotions, they're going to show the flips, and then they're going to show the Bristol Xfinity finish from last year, and that's what's going to tamper everybody's expectations. And then when you get good, hard racing like we saw, a guy catching another guy and just burn his stuff up, which is what we've all been accustomed to growing up race fans,
exactly.
Which we consider really good racing, to new fans who don't understand that, they're like, well, this sucked. This isn't what I saw in the commercials. Like, this is what it made up to be.
He didn't even pass him.
Right. So, like, I mean, I understand from the marketing standpoint you have to do that to draw eyes, but it butters up people to expect the wrong outcome.
Yeah. Hell, to a new fan, they probably thought Kyle Busch just quit trying.
They're like, wow, he let up.
Dude, he was right there. He let him win or something. They probably don't realize what's going on.
Yeah. They're like, damn, I can't believe he put it in first and just glided around the track.
Yeah, that's a good point in this comment. The same people that want crazy finishes complain that there's not enough wrecks. Yeah. That is a good point. Yep.
Yeah. Hey,
look,
the race
here,
was
at the
boring.
end
There was only 2 cautions.
At the end of the day, if there is one crazy wreck, if there is one insane finish, that's what people will remember, and it will become a more memorable race because of that. That's just a fact.
And another thing is people rate how good a race was based on who fucking won.
I was just going to say, but you shouldn't, judge a whole race just on that. Overall, this race was incredible. It was great racing the whole time. Obviously, if there was a photo finish, it would be a better race because that does make it more exciting. But I'm also not disappointed that there wasn't because of the outcome, right? Like Joey Logano did what he had to do to get to that position. I'm not going to knock Kyle Larson or Kyle Busch for not turning him earlier. You know what I mean? So it's bittersweet because it's like I'm not going to complain about the photo finish, but I do understand if there was one, it would go from like an 8 to a 9. You know what I mean? It's like obviously that's going to make the race more exciting.
Right. And, in the same sense, I know these numbers are oftentimes kind of skewed, like you said, by the outcome of the winner and stuff. But it was actually kind of encouraging to see Gluck's pole be at an 84% despite Logano winning, which traditionally when Logano wins, it don't matter how good of a race it is. The shit is like 60 and below.
Yeah.
So it was encouraging to see that, at least 84% of people thought, winner finish aside, that the race was really good. I mean, I'm not a Logano fan by any sense. And I had no issue with him winning and how he won. I was like, wow, that's good racing. Now, do I want to see Rex? I won't say I want to see Rex, but with this new car, I mean,
I want to see him
it.
bum and bang. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
I want to see him
get
get
excited
physical.
when it happens.
I
From
want to
time
see
to-
him get physical. Of course, who doesn't? I don't want anyone to get hurt, but like,
Right.
who doesn't
From time
want to
to-
see somebody
From
turn
time
somebody?
to time, I want to see a guy go into the corner and bust his ass because he can't
well,
control the car.
when you're in
But-
the stands watching and oh shit, and everybody jumps up and points.
Everyone
and says,
stands up.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Like, look at this spectacle
Yeah.
of a car spinning out at
Right.
180 mile an hour. Like,
Let's
oh,
not pretend
shit.
like we're too good for Rex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're definitely
we're not
all
we're
into
not
Rex.
F1 fans here.
But if there isn't one,
Right.
I'm not mad.
No, exactly. That won't ruin the race for me. I'm
No.
still like I thoroughly enjoyed this race. It has nothing to do with whether I enjoyed it or not. But yeah, if there is a photo
Take it
finish,
how you
cool.
will. I fucking loved watching cars get updraft. I thought it was awesome.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was awesome.
I fucking loved watching cars flip on in like
I get
unnatural
now that I'm getting
moments.
older, it's like, yeah, that's
Badass.
not,
yeah,
yeah.
that's dangerous. That's really dangerous.
I said that prior to the 2020 Daytona 500. I turned to my buddy and said, I've never seen a car go upside down. And then Newman
Oh,
got smoked right in the head and landed right in front of me, literally right in front of where I was sitting, and I thought he was dead.
Yeah,
and
that
I
was
never
the worst
wanted
one
to,
I've seen.
I never wanted to see that again. So
I like when they get updraft and then land back on the wheels and roll away.
yeah, that's cool. That's cool and all. But Newman got smoked in the head, and I'm
Yeah.
thoroughly convinced some fans go to the races where if they don't
No.
carry this motherfucker out in a body bag, then this is a horrible race and
Right?
stuff. And that's just like, it's like, dude, you got a tough life ahead of you as a NASCAR fan.
well, speaking of cars and wrecking, another thing on my bad was, and like I said, this is bad. It didn't ruin the race for me, but cars dropping out under caution just made me a
Mechanical
little
failures.
concerned with
This
the
is
new
the first
car.
go. It's the first go.
It's the first, right? That's why I said it's like it's a bad. It's not. It's just like maybe we should look at this, see if we can fix this. Because I heard, I was reading a lot of people's comments about it. And people are concerned of like how this is going to affect road course racing, maybe even super speedway racing. So it's just something that I hope they look into, and it really sucks for Tyler Reddick.
yeah. I honestly think he had the car to win.
That's why I'm rocking Tyler Reddick, baby. RCR, let's go. That's
Yeah,
another thing
think-
I do want to mention. RCR, if they are running equipment like they were, I've been
that-
saying for a while, I think this is going to be RCR's time.
I have a
Austin
feeling.
Dillon getting third. Tyler Reddick probably would have winning if he didn't.
I have a feeling they're going to be hot, but I'm not taking any speeds from this spectacle race into like heart of down the line. Get me to Atlanta 1, get me to Charlotte, and I think we'll see the cream of the crop.
I
of
mean, where
what's
did
going
Austin
on.
Dillon start?
I don't even know.
11th or 10th, I think.
Something around there. But
He worked his way up though. Like he had a
Yeah.
good equipment. You
Yeah.
could tell it was clearly
They
good
were
equipment.
racy. They were racy.
He worked his way up there. Tyler Reddick, obviously, I think he had winning equipment. So I don't know, man. I'm just saying, as an RCR fan, I'm very excited right now because
Oh yeah.
That sucked to see. I mean, all things considered, though, I mean, I think, these little kinks will be worked out.
Yeah.
It sucked to see Reddick drop out. I think I'm a big believer in energy, and I sense a lot of great energy around RCR this year. I think Austin Dillon's going to take the next leap. I've always thought Austin Dillon is a badass driver. Just the equipment has not been there.
Exactly. He's a much more talented driver than people give him credit for.
How about that tracker scheme that just dropped?
Their
for
equipment
them?
shit. That's another thing. And that was a comment earlier from Dalton. Yeah. He actually commented this earlier.
Dude, that thing is fucking slick.
It's dirty.
They're releasing some badass
RCR
schemes.
always has sick paint schemes though.
Yeah,
That's the
they're
thing.
releasing some badass schemes.
Yeah, so I think Austin's on tap for a really good year. I think Reddick's gonna have a breakout year.
That RCR is so hot right now.
No, but Reddick is honestly like I've said
Hey.
for a while. I think Reddick's like the future. I think that dude is extremely talented. And
Well,
you want to
first
talk
about
about
it-
like positive energy. One of the nicest guys me and Dakota get to
Yeah.
talk to down in the pits. He will talk to you, no problem.
Reddick super. Hey, when he got knocked out, he went through the stands high-fiving people. Did y'all see those clips?
Exactly.
How sick was
Yes.
that? I
That's
mean,
so cool.
That right there is like, dude, yes, Reddick.
He didn't just
Well-
pack it up and go home. He's like, no, I'm gonna go up and hang out with the fans. Like,
Yeah.
fuck
Yeah,
it all.
well, Jeff Gluck said Kyle Busch, after his media availability after the race, after finishing second, walked out of the media center and high-fived Steve Phelps and Ben Kennedy. When would
Yeah.
you ever expect Kyle Busch to high five anybody
what
after
the
finishing
fuck?
second?
Right.
So it's like,
Who
what the hell are we doing here?
Speaking
But
of
Yeah.
speaking of
Love to see
the
it.
young guys, look at what I just found as I'm unpacking. Can you see this?
Yeah, I just see some like cartoons or something.
looks like Eric Jones.
So
You
it
got
says
Bus Bubba
it's
on
from
there.
Texas Motor Speedway, and it says new kids on the block:
Oh,
Daniel
God.
Suarez, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, William Byron, Eric Jones, Ryan Blaney, and Bubba Wallace.
Ooh.
New kids on the
Wow.
block. That's
What year?
just-
2018.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably
Yeah,
20.
it's got to be 2018.
Hey,
Yeah.
speaking of hot schemes, but not so hot. I'm already sold on this RFK deal. However, I think they really were maybe trying to figure out what the hell was going on for this LA Clash thing. The cars look great, but they did not produce a lick of speed, as neither one of them made the main event. I also think maybe they were like, "Hey, we're gonna log some laps. If we don't make it, we don't care." I think they're gonna have some things going, but I would have loved to see them maybe race a little better. I do think they will be leading laps at Daytona. Keselowski's not gonna let this shit like just happen.
Also, I do want to mention correction. Nathan texted me
Oh
the paint
shit!
scheme, not you. So just
Oh,
want to mention
I
that.
thought I sent it to you too. Check your goddamn text messages.
Yeah, you did send it to me too. Shit. All right, both of you sent it to me. No, I agree. That was a little weird to see.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
actually in my bad. Was
Ooh.
I didn't know if we could, if it was eligible for us to throw like actual teams or just the overall
yeah.
event
No,
on the
whatever you
bad.
want.
But I actually had 23XI and RFK in the bad. Mainly 23XI. Kurt
2311, sir.
Kurt got fucked.
whatever. Kurt got fucked. But
Kurt
Bubba
did
was
get
just-
fucked by
Bu-
kind of by
Bubba
his
was
own
just
teammate.
yeah. Bubba was just royal garbage, and which was to be expected. And the thing I really didn't like, and this ties back into the broadcast, is like we had just dropped the green flag. The guys were relatively close, up front. And we were like super zoomed in on the 23 car, fucking 2 laps down. Why?
Oh,
For what? For what?
Okay.
Why?
That's
This-
definitely coming in the ugly.
This is a whole nother fucking episode. We can spend another hour and a half. I can explain
Hey,
why.
whenever we get
if you
off
really
week,
want to know
we're gonna
why, but
off week the Bubba Wallace escapades.
yeah, we don't have time to
Dude,
get into
I
Bubba
love what
Wallace.
I'm seeing with the 45 and Kurt and Jumpman. I am loving everything Kurt Busch, affiliate of the Chairgatin podcast. I'm just loving everything Monster and Kurt.
Yep.
I love what I'm
We're
seeing
big
there.
fans of Kurt.
And then we flip to the 23, and I am just like, yep, there's Bubba doing Bubba shit. I am just still like, okay, I'm trying to like you, Bubba. But then he speaks, and I see this dumbass Netflix shit coming out, and I'm like, all right, yep, I'm good. Oh, no, Bubba, I'm good. I don't want to see this shit. I don't want to hear about it. It's the pandering that gets me. That's a whole nother episode. But
Like I said, that's a
when
whole
he's-
nother fucking. If
when
we go down
he's-
this rabbit hole,
he's leading his heat, and everybody's chomping at the bits to knock his back window out because he's so slow. It's just I was totally like, yeah, there's Bubba being slow.
Well, Kurt impressed me. Kurt's gonna do big things this year. He's not the
I-
one who disappointed
I
me. He
see-
got
I see
screwed.
Kurt winning. I see Kurt winning.
For sure. He would have definitely made the main event. Had
Yeah.
things not shaken out
what
the
do you
way
mean you
they
see
did.
Kurt winning? Kurt always wins. He always gets one win.
That's my dog.
Yeah,
right there.
Kurt
that's
will find
the easiest bet to take, dude. He'll get one win.
Kurt will find a way to win. RFK
Right.
disappointed me in the sense of I didn't really have much expectations for Busher, but just overall their speeds were down. Like Rick Ware was faster than them all weekend. It was just kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Rick
Like, you can-
Ware car
you
made
can
the
t-
fucking main event.
Yeah, you can tell they've got some homework to do.
Yeah.
But shout out Rick Ware for coming prepared. But
Yeah.
Brad definitely has.
Well, I'm totally seeing
lot
RFK
on
as almost like taking a like, hey, we're gonna take all our old notes and throw them away. Brad's this guy Brad, he's your boss now. Brad, take it away. It's like this is a whole new team to me.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
this,
they're starting.
This isn't
completely
to me.
fresh.
This isn't Roush. Like this is a total reset. Like almost 2311. Like is like, hey, this is a whole new team. Like we're redoing shit over here. It's not that old shit. Under new management.
Well,
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
doing
yeah, this is to me, this is Brad Keselowski Racing with Roush's name on it, kind of like how 2311. I mean, it's Denny's race team with Michael's name on it. I guarantee you, Michael couldn't
Yeah.
fucking push the clutch down in a
Oh,
car to save his
Yeah.
life.
How
But,
fast
know,
these cars go?
His money's behind it, so I mean, his name's going to be attached. So yeah, I mean, I'm not really knocking RFK. I mean, they've got a lot of homework to do. They probably came out here with the sense, let's just get some notes. they probably knew what to expect, but just from my standpoint, I guess I just had a little bit more expectations, just at least to see Brad in the main. That was kind of disappointing, but I'm sure they'll be up there leading laps. They're
Hey,
gonna
but
have a pretty
that
decent
fucking
year.
6 car was sexy though.
Well,
Dude.
speaking
That
Yeah,
of
it looks
Brad's
badass.
car, on my last bad number placement.
I
Look,
honestly,
here's the deal. It's not ruining it for me, but I still don't like it. I mean,
there's a scary thought out there I had.
they're coming out with cool paint schemes, and then you see it on the
Uh,
track, and you're like, oh, it still kind of looks weird.
Well, the weirdest thing was during watching all these weekends festivities, I was, as I'm watching, I'm just kind of, you just learn to accept it. You learn to just bend over and take it. It's like, yeah, okay, the numbers are forward. Well, then I keep seeing I saw like 3 or 4 tracks commercials and highlights and the Daytona 500. So I'm seeing all these old highlights of cars with the numbers where they belong.
Right.
And I'm like, I literally was like, well, that looks weird. Like I'm transitioning into the new normal
Oh
of the number
no.
being forward. And I seen the number in the center as I just got a new Kevin Harvick diecast this weekend. And I'm like, oh, the numbers in the middle. Oh, that's like, oh, that's what they used to be. Like, oh yeah. And then I was literally like, oh, what's happening? What's happening to me?
I'm be honest with you boys. I was a huge critic of the number moving. I hated it. I'm a traditional NASCAR fan. Put the shit in the middle. But I will say I actually like it. I think I also think it's a breath of fresh air with this new car.
Yeah,
I think it looks good.
yeah.
I think the paint schemes have pulled it off well. I think it's just
There's been more good schemes than
What,
bad schemes.
Connor? What
Yeah.
paint scheme pulled it off well? Which one?
Let me see. I think the first one that I saw that I thought was like, all right, this is pretty. This is
Wait,
pretty
when you
sick.
saw it on the track on TV or like a picture of it? Because that's a big difference.
Yeah, a big difference. I'd say on track was probably the. I'll just pull it out from this weekend because I don't really count testing. I would say probably the 18. I think the M&M's car looks pretty
I
good.
think it looks good, dude.
Okay,
Like,
M&M's did pull it off. You're
I
right.
think Denny's car is a close second, looks good, and I think the RFK cars look good. Chase's car to me kind of looks like meh.
I don't like
And
the
then-
Napa car.
I mean, it's like meh to me.
For
I'm
me,
not even gonna be biased. I thought the 4 car looked really clean.
dude, the 4 car always looks clean. That's not fair.
We got Harris Lou designing their shit. You know it's gonna look
Exactly. It always looks clean. Okay, for me, I think it's gonna be Daytona when I see Austin
Yeah,
Dillon's
I'm curious to see him in
Fast
person.
Pro Shop tracker. I want to see that in person, and maybe I can change my opinion if they finally like hit me with a paint scheme that I'm like, boom, that's it. Then maybe I'll change my opinion. Like I said, that's why it's bad, not ugly.
Okay.
Dakota, did you have any more bads?
I'm good. I'm ready to hop into this ugly segment. We're running wild, but we still got one more can open.
Yeah, exactly.
good.
Okay, ugly. You know what? I'm just gonna start out. I think with the most obvious thing. I don't know. Maybe y'all will disagree,
I
but
probably agree. It's probably mine.
halftime concert.
No, that's not mine.
All right,
disagree.
let me explain. I don't mind having Ice Cube there. I love all of his music.
On the record.
Every song that he played there, I know. Like
Yeah,
I've been
I
listening
love
to
the
him
songs.
forever. Yeah, like so I know his music, love the music. It has nothing to do with who performed. This was a really short race. The fact that they even had like a caution in the middle pissed me off to begin with. That really annoyed me. And then they cut away to a whole fucking concert. And I was like, what am I watching? I hated it. I hated every aspect of it. I think that was the one thing that kind of dropped the score for me for this race overall. Was
Kevin
Kevin
jumped on the radio and said, "How long are we doing this?" Like, he's sitting in the car.
exactly.
And he goes, "How long are we doing this?"
I'm here for a race. And so, look, like I said, I liked the fact that Ice Cube performed. Put him before or after the race, that's fine. You could put him, move up Pitbull and then put him before the race, or you could actually have him after the race and have him like announce the winner and then put on a whole
I thought
fucking
that was
show.
a cool idea,
and
too.
everybody in the stands just stays for a show afterwards.
They put a
that's kinda
do-rag
tight.
on Joey Logano. He starts dancing.
I wouldn't hate that if I'm at the
thought-
race and they're like, yo, stay around and Ice Cube's throwing a show
I
on.
thought a great idea was like Pitbull before the heats, like warming everybody up or whatever. Nobody was paying attention to him anyway. But then like right before the Clash started, Ice Cube comes out, like, "What's up, motherfuckers?" And he puts on a show and like, "Let's go racing, my boys." And then they start the engines. Or Ice Cube's like at his last song, it's like, "Start your fucking engines," and the cars start. What a great idea! Fireworks,
It's like
the plane.
if we don't have like a halftime show for the Coke 600, what are we doing with this short ass race with a
Yeah.
halftime show? That just blew my mind.
Yeah.
I really didn't like it. I want to see them go away from it entirely. I don't like the halftime thing.
I love the
especially
idea.
for something this
I need
short.
better execution. Go-
Exactly, especially for something this short. That really bugged me. Where I was like, it honestly, it felt almost like the commercial thing. Where I was like, this is a short race. Stop cutting away from the racing. I want to see all of the racing the whole time.
And Ice Cube, I'm old school Ice Cube fan. He looked fucking tired. Like the motherfucker was like, "I was fucking another song." Fucking.
All right, Connor. Let's hear your take.
I like the halftime show, but only for this event. If it's for this event and the All-Star race only, I like it. But don't stop the Daytona 500. Don't stop the middle of Kansas.
Okay, but
Like,
would you prefer it in the middle of the race or before or after the race? Like
For
you
this
like
event-
it in the middle?
for this event, the middle, and here's my reason why. If you
Okay,
put it before the race, like, okay, remember what I was saying about how the LA crowd shows up late? If you put it before the race, who the hell is he performing for? 15,000 people, 20,000 people?
I mean,
He
I think
doesn't-
most people were there before the beginning of the race, though. I will say I was
Well, that's
watching the
still
crowd
a big
closely.
ass concert.
It still is, but I think to draw the most attention, you wanted to get them when you know that they're all there. I think it was just unique. I would have left it in the middle of the race rather than before or after. I think the pre-race concerts are cool. I think post-race concerts are even better. It gives people more of a reason to stick
And then
around
it's
and
like
not
a
sit in
night-
traffic.
Exactly, it's a nighttime thing. The race is
Yeah.
over. The crowd stays for the entire race because they're waiting for the show after. I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's a good social event, to get
I just don't
people
think there's
sticking around.
I don't think there's any take that will change my mind that I hate the halftime thing. I just don't like it. I don't think anybody's opinion would change that. Like I said, I liked everything else. I liked the artist they brought. I liked the show he put on. I liked everything. It's just in the middle of the race really kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, and I can understand that for sure. I just think I think for this event, I was okay with it. I mean, my roommate is not a NASCAR fan at all. He's never watched NASCAR at all, and we were in here turning up on my couch to some Ice Cube and stuff. So I think for this event and this event only, maybe the All-Star race, if you get the right artist, like if this was any, I think honestly, if this was any other artist than Ice Cube, I would probably go take a shit in the middle of like the
Right.
halftime show.
There's a few people. Yeah, it has to be somebody. Snoop Dogg.
Snoop, yeah, would have been perfect. Somebody
I thought
you
Snoop
imagine-
Dogg would have been bad.
Can you imagine if they got Snoop with Ice Cube?
Oh,
God,
shit.
dude,
Oh,
that would be
shit.
like the halftime show for this
Half
week's
of
Super Bowl.
NW like
that would have been sick and stuff. But like I said, I think it was more so like artist based. I hope NASCAR puts more emphasis on pre-race concerts, especially for like big events. I know we always do it for the 500, but let's be honest, they're usually always like some shithead. Like, okay, we don't want to see Darius Rucker for the 15th time in the last 8 years
Preach,
at a NASCAR
preach.
event. Like, we want to see people who are relevant and who grabs the attention of the middle-aged to younger crowd and stuff. So
honestly,
I'm
like
a fan.
honestly, they got Pitbull in their back pocket. That I think they're gonna start using him more because
Yeah.
that dude gets like kids and old people. Not so
Yeah,
much
he
like
turns them
our
up.
age, but like the really young people and the really old people like Pitbull for some reason. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, I
I
wouldn't
think it's
enjoy a
good.
Pitbull concert, but like I think the audience would. I do think the crowd works for Pitbull.
Yeah, I think it's good to have like Pitbull in their back pocket. Whenever they want to, bring out a concert. That's
If you want to get me to stop watching NASCAR, put on a goddamn Florida Georgia Line concert, and I will instantly watch F1. I'll be
That's
like,
how
well,
I feel about Luke Combs.
I'm waiting for Florida Georgia Line. I was all these years. I'm still waiting for NASCAR to be like, all right, Daytona 500 pre-race show, Florida Georgia Lines, and
The Florida
Jake
Georgia
Owen.
Line Dixie Vodka 400. Do y'all not remember that?
yeah,
I
no,
try to
I
forget.
100% remember that. Yes.
Yeah, and it's most of the pre-race like shows for the 500 I straight laugh at. Like I'm
Yeah,
just not
and
even when I've been at the
There's
500.
the Kevin Harvick moms down there on the stage doing
Yep.
this shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's even the 500s I've been to. Like I've been like, can we just get on with this?
I'm
and
usually not
already?
even paying attention. I'm like, oh, is that live? What?
Yeah.
I'm
So
not even watching the shit.
All right, Dakota, what
That's
do you
my
have?
take.
That's my ugly. What do you got?
My ugly was, and it's a double-edged sword because it's kind of the only reason we were doing this whole fucking thing was the Fox goddamn broadcast.
That was my other one. So yeah,
My ugly is the Fox broadcast. Bless their hearts, they fucking tried. I wasn't surprised with the shit. I don't even know where to start. I think it started with practice, and I started like seeing the camera angles they were doing and the cuts, and was like, hey, what the fuck? Like that view sucks. The one they did on the inside of the turn where the cars just go by, you don't know what the fuck is going on. And then they kept just like, oh, and Joey Logano bumps him for the lead, and they would just go to the bumper cam of like
Yes.
Denny Hamlin, and like what the
they
fuck?
randomly go
dude?
to the rear view for like Bubba Wallace, and you're
The
like, what?
fucking
Who's
earlier
behind
stuff,
him?
the
Why
stuff
does it
I
matter?
said earlier with the cringy fucking cuts and the just filming random like Spanish mamas dancing offbeat in the crowd. That was weird and cringy. They fucking would just zoom in on the 23. They would just zoom in on a car, like doing nothing, just running by himself, just zooming in. But the announcers would be talking about some craziness going on the other corner. And then they would, like, where really I lost it was Joey Logano just won, and he started fucking burning, like he started roasting the tires, and they just cut to the drone cam filming the stands. And I fucking lost it, dude. That shit pisses me off more than anything. Like, when the driver's starting his burnout, you film the fucking burnout. And that's a problem I have with this driver intros they've been doing for the last 10 years. Is like, I want to watch the burnout. I want to see a fucking one dude zoomed in. No, I don't want to see a guy running by with holding a fucking camera. I want to see the burnout. I want to see him roast the tires. Like, that's
All
huge.
right.
That's
Yes.
huge to me.
So here I am with that. So everything Fox messed up on, I would expect out of Fox just from watching Fox.
And I was surprised. I wasn't surprised.
The
Right.
last few years. Where what really pissed me off was these two particular instances.
The
when we
fucking
went,
cartoons.
well, yeah, the cartoons are what
I
they
can't
are.
stand that shit. Fucking
But
not stand that shit.
when we dropped the green after the halftime show, and it seemed like we were on Crank It Up for 4 minutes on the stupid ass fucking wall cam when there probably could have been a lot of bumping and banging. I was like, why? Get this off of Crank It Up. And
Crank
then
it up and show me different views.
And then B, anytime the first time Ryan Blaney shows any ounce of emotions and throws his fucking Hans device,
Oh
not capturing.
They didn't fucking get it.
Nobody got it.
They just film his Hans device sitting on the track, and I'm like, well, how the fuck did that get there?
All those damn super zoom cameras and mini cameras they had, nobody got that shit. But I'm glad we were able to zoom in and read fucking Bubba Wallace's tattoo on his
Literally
arm.
nobody got it. Nobody on social media. Like, I don't know how
we got a hop and a skip, and that was it.
And that was it. And it's like, damn, they missed a golden opportunity to showcase a driver.
Vanilla Blaney gets angry and that nobody knows what happened.
Like, who knows? Blaney could have done, if they would have captured that and Blaney would have did it to a new fan, though, they could have been like, that's fucking awesome. That's my guy.
Yeah.
That's true.
But they missed Fox missed an opportunity to elevate a guy who they want to elevate. NASCAR wants to elevate Ryan Blaney.
Right.
And Fox missed a golden opportunity to do so. And a guy who never shows any lick of like emotion like
He's
that
on this.
typically.
They want to elevate him.
Hey, I think Fox did really good with this whole event, yet they was like they were trying to fuck it up. It was just like, dude, you're in the Super Bowl. Like, fucking just play. It was like,
here's the thing.
Fuck?
I think Fox, they do things right.
They try so hard,
but they just need to hire new camera guys. Like, at the end of the day, it's the guys that are holding the cameras at the track, focused on the race. Everything else is like kind of coming together. It's just when I'm watching the race on Fox, I watch it with people that don't even really watch racing much, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on? Like, why are they on this car?" And I'm like, "I have no idea. Like, I'm a race fan. I can't tell you why they're on."
Well, that meme, you saw the meme where it was like, "And they're 3 wide for the lead," and it was like a bumper cam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think they just try. They try too hard. They just need to keep it simple.
Dude,
like, quit trying to do too much.
And NBC knocks it out of the fucking park. Fox just tees it up for them, and NBC's like, "Thank you," and just fucking kills it. And then we come back to this shit, and it's like, God, dude, like, just stop. Like,
it's Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine if
Simple is
NBC were
better.
to
Hurts
open
my
the
feelings
season.
every time he says it.
You guys remember when they used to rotate out like Fox and whoever else? Like who was the other one?
TNT,
Yeah,
and then ESPN and
or
shit.
they for the 500 they used to rotate them out up until
I
like 2007. They used to
don't know.
rotate out the broadcast. It would be Fox one year, and then it'd be like whatever else was the other one. Imagine if like
I'm-
NBC opened up the Clash.
Oh, dude, it'd be insane.
I don't think it would be talking about any broadcast issues.
But here's the thing. Like I said, I think if Fox gets Tony in the booth, if they manage to actually get him to stay in the booth, I don't know if they're able to.
Yeah.
It's like all the parts for them, all the pieces are falling into place. They just need to hire some new guys that hold the fucking cameras.
I'm curious how they do this broadcast with like, we're gonna alternate a third guy. It's like, Michael Waltrip's gonna get a few, and I feel that they're gonna like one special race bring Daryl Waltrip back for a race, and
I don't know
God,
about that,
I
dude.
hope I'm at
I
it.
think he's done.
I hope I'm
Like,
at it. Hey, it's Fox, man. I don't know.
he's
Well,
very old now.
it's that, and it's all about building chemistry too. Like the big thing with Gordon and Clint is they never meshed well. It seemed like they can never get
No.
the chemistry down. And how are you gonna have a rotating booth and just not have consistent chemistry? Like what makes NBC so well is that Burton and Letarte and Dale and Rick Allen, they all blend so well. They all have chemistry. They all know when each other's gonna talk. They know what each other are gonna say before they say
They
it.
do their fucking homework.
Exactly.
Also, somebody should have told Jeff from the get-go that he doesn't belong in the booth.
He
just doesn't have the
It just seemed
personality
like he was
for
like
it, dude.
bored. Like,
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
doesn't
"Dude,
have the
I'm running a
personality
team,
for it.
and
Nothing
I'm
against
here with
him.
the
Clearly
bucks."
he's a legend. I mean, he owns a team now. So it's like nothing against him. He just doesn't belong in the booth. He doesn't have the personality for it. He's not.
You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that guy.
You're not
He's
that
not.
guy.
He's not Dale Jr. in the booth. Tony is more like Dale Jr. in the booth. He's good.
Yeah, it was smooth.
Yeah, he's insightful, but he's also a little witty, and that's what the booth need. The booth doesn't need some wild fucking drunk who says a bunch of corny shit. I mean, we had that in Daryl Waltrip for so many years, and they had to literally push him out the door because.
Well, Daryl Waltrip is not a drunk. I mean,
well, no, he's got dementia.
He's not a drunk, but
he doesn't drink alcohol, so clearly he's not.
Well, also too,
his brother, on the other hand, Michael, I think might be.
A lot of these guys are getting fucking old. I mean, I'm not trying to talk bad, but like these guys, Larry Mack I love Larry Mack, but goddamn, he's getting fucking old.
But
he was the crew chief for Dale Earnhardt in '98. Like, dude, Jesus Christ.
But you know who's the perfect age for it right now? Tony fucking Stewart.
Yes. Well, and
dude, this guy needs to take over Fox.
He's got bigger fish to fry.
I know. He's so busy with like dirt racing and everything else.
Well, who do they got coming up? J Mac? I'm sorry, that's not gonna work.
Well, why do you think they had Tony and Dale test the next gen car at Bowman Gray so they could get a feel of the car and know what they're talking about in the booth? You couldn't put it became Daryl Waltrip became so long and drawn out. He didn't even know what the hell he was talking about anymore because he had no grip of what the fuck was going on. He hadn't drove a car
in 20 years, and he's talking about car tomorrows. It's like,
and he's like, the dynamics of this car, like, what the hell does he know that I don't know?
Right.
Right. That was definitely the problem. Is he just stayed in the booth too long?
I honestly think Kevin retires in 23 and goes straight to Fox.
I don't want to see Kevin in the booth. He'd be terrible in the booth.
You go to hell. I think it's a great insight.
Kevin would be so bad in the booth, dude. He has no personality. He's a dickhead.
So good. Oh, yeah, perfect.
Dude, he's an asshole. He has no personality.
I think Kurt does it too. He's been doing the truck race thing for the last 2 years.
Kurt would actually do well in the booth.
I think you could get Kurt, Kevin, and we need somebody to replace Mike Joy. I don't know who. Like when Mike Joy retires, I don't want him to.
I just don't want Kevin in the booth. I think Kevin would suck in the booth, dude.
J Mac, Kevin Harvick, and Tony.
And I don't like Kevin Harvick. I'm just being honest. Like separate from that, I think he would suck in the booth.
Kevin's been announcing for years, and I think it's great.
I think Kevin's I personally just think Kevin's a brick. So I don't know. I don't know how he. To be honest with you, I haven't watched many of.
He'd at least have a last decade perspective.
Yeah, no, from perspective wise, he's got it. But like, I can get that from Kurt Busch, and I think Kurt Busch would be way better. He's got a better.
Yeah, I think Kurt does good. Oh,
I mean, if
Kyle retires, Kurt, Kyle, and fucking J Mac.
I mean, if we're going off like modern era perspective, then let's throw Norm Benning in the booth for the Xfinity because he's got a few like Xfinity starts here in the last few years. I mean, I don't know. I just think. I think Fox needs guys with great balance, guys who can be witty, guys who can be funny, but also know when to dial it in.
Yeah, or also Fox should just hire friends, because I think people that actually hang out probably will have better chemistry and banter better in the booth with each other. So like just hire guys that get along. That's like at the end of the day, I think that's the most important part.
Yes,
Yeah, chemistry
yes.
over everything.
Yeah.
And on that note, we are 1 week from fucking Daytona and the Daytona 500, and we will be there, and we won't have to watch a terrible broadcast. However, I'd love to see Tony's perspective on calling the Daytona 500. I'm definitely gonna go back.
Well, I'm
and
probably
watch
gonna
it.
just rewatch it,
I'm
but
gonna rewatch it.
right. But
We're
before
1 week away.
Before we go, one last thing. I just want each of you, we don't have to discuss it so much, but just each of you give a rating, a final rating
yeah.
for that race. Dakota, why don't you start us out?
With the whole Busch Clash and the way it was,
1 out of 10. So that just so y'all know, that's what we're doing.
I am going to give this whole weekend a 8.2.
Are you fucking serious?
Was that what you said?
I told you what I was gonna. All right, whatever.
I don't
Connor, go on.
remember what you said.
I'll go 9.5. They knocked it out of the park for me.
What?
So this was
Point-
one of the best races you've ever seen in your entire life.
From the aspect of sitting at home watching a race and considering it's a Busch Clash,
No,
9.5.
don't consider it a Busch. Just literally of all races you've ever seen, this is one of the best you've ever watched in your entire
I mean,
life.
are we talking about the entire weekend, like the whole festivities? Or are we talking about strictly the main event?
I guess it's up to you, man. If you
I was
want
talking about the whole-
9.5, that's fine.
I was talking about the whole weekend.
All right.
I'll
I'm gonna go
9.5.
I'm gonna go 8.1. I think it was really good. Literally, if I'm going out on a scale of 10, 10 is literally the best race I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. 8.1 is pretty good. You're cracking 8. That's like
That's
this
pretty
whole
good.
season, I doubt many races even crack 8. So it's probably gonna end up being one of them. You know,
8
I want-
is like
I-
our upper echelon.
my rating was 8.2, just so everybody knows. And I told Dakota that like yesterday on the phone, and he just completely stole my fucking rating. So that's cool. You know what? You know what, Dakota? I'm going 8.3 actually. Fuck it.
I thought
I
you
take back
told-
my 8.1. I'm going 8.3. Just
I
to one
thought
up
you said 8.4, so I was like, yeah, I'll give it an 8 too.
Well,
And you
now
were
I'm
like, are
going.
you fucking serious? And I was like, oh shit, was that yours?
Yeah, that was mine.
I thought,
Alright.
I thought it was
That's
8.4.
funny.
Well, I'm glad we all liked it. Connor, thanks for stopping by. I know we went pretty
Yeah.
long. Obviously, we're excited about Daytona. Everybody be on the lookout for an episode probably Thursday night. We're gonna do a live episode from Daytona Beach. So be on the
Hey,
lookout for
since I won't be at Daytona, unfortunately I can't join you boys, and since I obviously won't be on the show next week, I will go on record to say I want Tyler Reddick to win the 500, just so he can light up one of them 3 cheese in victory lane.
Oh,
100%,
fuck yeah. How badass would that be? He's like, I'd like to thank my sponsor.
that.
Fuck the beer. Let me just.
Oh, that would be awesome. They're
Big old
like,
pool.
that's not the only thing smoking tonight with the tires.
Yeah.
Hey, he's a good pick, dude. He honestly,
Yeah.
I think that's a good pick. For
He will
Daytona
be
500 winner.
leading or wrecking at one point.
So I just
Alright.
had to throw that on record, but I appreciate
Hey,
you guys
hey,
having me on. Man.
Hey, well, Connor, where can we check you out and what races can we see you at this year?
Oh man, what races you can follow me on Twitter at Connor Bunn. I'm not on there much, but maybe I'll tap in some more this
He's
year.
a savage
might
when he is.
make a comeback. So you can follow me on Twitter at Connor Bunn. Races this year, I just got my Martinsville ticket for April yesterday.
Oh,
So I'll
shit.
definitely be there. I plan on being at Talladega, Nashville. I'm gonna try and hit Bristol. Trying to hit Richmond. Those are local to me, and
Maybe an
we'll see
Atlanta
what
appearance?
maybe an Atlanta appearance in July. So we'll see what's down the line. But those are some ideas that
Well, if you're coming to Dega, bring your fucking big boy pants.
I'm gonna need them.
Definitely. Yeah, we had a great time last year, Talladega and Atlanta. All right, Connor, thanks for coming in, and everybody make sure to get you a pair of Yeats, 10% discount code Chairgatin at yeatsofficial.com, and we will see y'all on Thursday, hopefully.
All right, next Thursday, bitches.
Peace.
Peace, Connor.
See ya.